So I'm walking up the stairs to the Lincoln Memorial. I hadn't been there ever before. And there's a lot of people. And as soon as I walked inside, I noticed how much cooler it was inside in the shade. But off to the right, I saw this homeless guy sitting there on a bunch of newspapers that he'd spread out. And so I went over and sat next to him, and I looked over, and he had this really old style, like military mess kit, this kind of a 10 kit, like a silver colored 10 kit that he had open up and spread out around in front of him like he had just cleaned it. But he was this homeless guy, and I wondered what he was doing with this mess kit. And I looked inside of the bowl in front of him that it was preparing to eat, and there was a human eyeball in there. And it reminded me of the time I was sitting in the shade under a tree on the plains of Africa. I went there on a trip once. I was supposed to go backpacking, but my friends decided to go on a guided safari. And so I'm sitting there under this tree in the shade, hot as fuck in Africa. And I look out and I see these lions eating something. So I walk up and I, look at them with binoculars, and they're eating some dude. And it was one of the guys that was on our trip. But the lions looked up at me like they could see me. They noticed I was there. And they had this expression like, yeah, we could kill you and eat you if we wanted to, but we just don't feel like it right now. And so I kept walking past these lions, and I got up to this big hole in the ground. And in this, it was like this perfectly dug hole. I mean, not a natural like canyon or anything, like a hole that had been dug by some kind of equipment. I mean, obviously large equipment that was used to dig holes with. And in this hole were all of these people, like these prisoners. They were like political prisoners that I don't remember which African country I was in, but these political prisoners were thrown into this pit, and then every other day or so they would let these lions come in and just eat whoever they felt like eating. And I guess that's why those lions didn't eat me, because they had plenty of food that they knew they could get to, so why bother chasing down some single guy wandering lost in the plains of Africa. And so as I was just about to ask this homeless guy sitting next to me with his well spread out, well cleaned mess kit 10 why he was eating an eyeball, I heard a strange noise, and I looked to my right. The homeless guy was sitting on my left, and I heard this strange noise on the right. And there's another homeless guy standing there peeing in the corner, just peeing away. Nobody really cared. People were coming in taking pictures of themselves in front of Honest Abe, while some homeless guy peed in the corner, and another homeless guy was about to eat an eyeball. Kind of a weird day. But it was really hot, and I stayed inside the shade for a while, just hanging out, watching people, which is interesting to do sometimes.